I was one of the lucky ones who found out who Nolan was at a very young age. At that time, way less people knew him or his arts. Other people these days are starting to recognize him with Oppenheimer, while I knew him with The Prestige, Insomnia, and following. He's my favorite director. I love all of his works, but there's something different about his new ones. Something that I, and maybe you, don't like. But before saying what I'm gonna say, just know that I always am a person who would accept new ways to do things. I'm not one of those who say because it was started like this, it should be done always with the same tactics and techniques. The problem is pacing. Take a look at this scene from Memento. Or this scene. Or this. The average duration of each shot is around 5 to 6 seconds. Now take a look at the most recent movie of Nolan, Oppenheimer. The average duration is about 2 to 3 seconds. At the first glance, it doesn't seem like much difference, but it is, because it causes a problem, and that is the decline of the importance of each shot. In older movies of him, he used to change most of the scenes only if he wants to put the audience's attention on something. David Fincher is a master at doing this. But take a look at this scene.
Senator from Wyoming.
Admiral Strauss, I'm interested in your relationship with Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer. You met him in 1940.
There was no need for that many shots. I know Nolan is trying to do this to absorb the most amount of audiences and not just waiting for movie enthusiasts to go and watch the movie. He also wants to keep the attention span of the general audiences. But that sometimes doesn't work, and it comes at the cost of losing attention. Because there is so many information in his movies, and especially the recent ones. And he is trying to give us the information at the fastest way possible. But because everything is happening so fast, the movie won't let us sink the information in our head. I also understand that Oppenheimer already is a 3 hours long movie, but I can confidently say that it could have been a much more pleasurable experience if it was around 3.5 hours long. I don't think people really enjoy to pause or play back a certain scene for 3 times to find out what is going on. That was one of the biggest problems with Tenet, the Nolan's project before Oppenheimer. Many people enjoyed the movie, but also there was a big wave of audiences complaining about the movie being too vague. But the problem wasn't that. It was the speed of things happening. Nolan wanted the movie to be vague, but he didn't give us time to use our cognitive mind to have an interpretation of the things happening in the movie. I wish Nolan understood that if you want the best art to make, money goes in second. But from the other hand, I understand that Hollywood's first and most important factor is money. Maybe he wants to make his movies longer, but they won't let him. What's your opinion? I will make videos in the future to talk about your interpretations in the comments. And until next video. Oh, wait. One more thing. It is not always a bad thing to have fast-paced or very fast-paced scenes. For example, in the interrogation scene, the editing is pretty chaotic. And it is supposed to be chaotic, because we're watching the movie from the perspective of Oppenheimer. And if you have watched the movie before, you know his mind was at a very chaotic situation. Or at this scene, Nolan wants us to feel the drive Oppenheimer has for the things he's trying to learn. Oppenheimer wants to understand them as soon as possible. So we, the audience, should feel the same. And again, that is because we are watching the movie from the perspective of Oppenheimer. And you might say, wait, there are many shots that last for like 8 to 9 seconds, but they're not followed by silence. Nolan tries to fill the silence with music so the general audiences don't get bored. I actually want to make a video about this topic. I think Martin Scorsese nailed these styles of shots. Okay, bye, seriously.